Got a Roosevelt dime from 1967, 1977, or 1995? Don't spend it yet. Some of these dimes have rare mint errors that make them worth hundreds. Check your change and hit like and subscribe for more hidden coin treasures. The 1967 U.S. Roosevelt dime might look like just another small silver-colored coin from your pocket change, but behind that familiar face of Franklin D. Roosevelt lies one of the most intriguing and valuable stories in American coin collecting. Although tens of millions of these dimes were minted and used daily across the country, a few of them possess features and qualities that make them incredibly rare and worth staggering amounts of money. Some of these coins have reached prices between $64,500 and an unbelievable $148,200 in auctions, shocking even seasoned collectors and redefining what it means to find treasure in loose change. The story of the 1967 Roosevelt dime is deeply tied to a turbulent time in U.S. coinage history. The mid-1960s were marked by significant changes at the U.S. Mint due to the national silver shortage. In 1965, the Mint officially removed silver from circulating dimes and quarters, replacing it with a copper-nickel-clad composition. This change made 1967 one of the first years when the dime no longer contained silver, and because of that transition, the Mint suspended mint marks for a few years, from 1965 to 1967, to prevent coin hoarding and speculation. So, no matter where it was struck, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, the 1967 dime has no mint mark. Despite its ordinary appearance, this simple detail contributes to its mystique. Collectors must rely on other clues to identify rare variations or minting errors, and those subtle differences are what turn a coin worth 10 cents into one worth tens of thousands. One of the most famous varieties from 1967 is the Special Mint Set, SMS, dime. Since the Mint did not produce proof coins during this period, these special mint sets were created for collectors and featured coins with a higher level of detail, strike quality, and finish than regular circulation pieces. The SMS dimes have a satiny or lightly mirrored surface and sharp details, particularly in Roosevelt's hair and the torch on the reverse. Among these SMS coins, the ultra-rare 1967 SMS dime graded SP68 or SP69 by PCGS or NGC can command extraordinary prices. In one notable Heritage Auctions event, a stunning 1967 SMS dime in SP68 deep cameo condition sold for $2,350. But that's just the beginning. A unique 1967 SMS dime with a remarkable mirrored finish and nearly perfect strike quality achieved an astounding $64,500 at auction, making it one of the highest-priced clad Roosevelt dimes ever sold. But it's not just the SMS coins that collectors are after. The 1967 dime is famous for a variety of dramatic mint errors that can fetch massive sums. One such example is a 1967 dime struck on a silver planchet, something that should have been impossible since the Mint stopped using silver 2 years earlier. These off-metal errors happened when leftover silver blanks from 1964 or earlier years were mistakenly fed into the presses. When discovered, these dimes caused a sensation among collectors. One verified 1967 dime struck on a 90% silver planchet sold for a jaw-dropping $148,200 at a Stack's Bowers auction, while another example with a slightly lower grade brought $112,000. Other minting mistakes have also proven incredibly valuable. Off-center strikes, double strikes, and misaligned dies can make these coins unique pieces of minting history. A 1967 dime struck 70% off-center, leaving only part of Roosevelt's face visible, sold for $4,800. Another, double struck with overlapping torch details on the reverse, realized $3,900. A misaligned die error creating a tilted portrait fetched $2,450. These coins remind collectors that errors aren't always mistakes. They can be masterpieces of chance. Even more extraordinary are transitional errors, coins struck with the wrong metal composition or incorrect planchets from other denominations. A 1967 dime struck on a copper penny planchet, resulting in a reddish gold coin with dime features, sold for $6,500. A similar example struck on a quarter planchet weighing 5.67 grams realized $9,750. These bizarre hybrid errors are among the most fascinating for collectors because they reveal the unpredictable human and mechanical elements of the minting process. The 1967 dimes from the special mint sets are also known for cameo and deep cameo finishes, terms that describe the level of contrast between the frosted raised design and the mirror-like background. The deeper the contrast, the rarer and more valuable the coin. A 1967 SMS dime graded SP68 deep cameo sold for $3,200, while another in perfect SP69 condition achieved $4,100 at great collections. Collectors are willing to pay such high prices because these coins are nearly flawless, representing the pinnacle of mid-century mint craftsmanship. But perhaps what makes the 1967 dime especially interesting is that it bridges two important eras: the end of silver coinage and the rise of modern clad designs. It reflects the technological and economic shifts of the time while preserving the legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose portrait graces the dime as a tribute to his leadership and his role in establishing the March of Dimes to fight polio. Another remarkable aspect of the 1967 dime market is how much condition matters. While most circulated examples are worth only face value, uncirculated or mint state coins can command surprising premiums. A 1967 dime graded MS67 by PCGS sold for $850, while one in the top population grade of MS68 fetched $2,150. These coins are exceptionally well struck with minimal contact marks, making them highly desirable to registry set collectors who compete for the best of the best. There are also fascinating double die varieties reported for 1967, where the lettering or details show slight doubling due to die misalignment during the minting process. A 1967 dime with a visible doubled "In God We Trust" on the obverse sold for $1,750, and another showing a doubled torch on the reverse realized $2,000. While these varieties are subtle, they're a thrill for error hunters and often found only with close magnification. The market for Roosevelt dimes, especially rare errors and high-grade pieces, has grown steadily over the past 2 decades. Collectors are beginning to appreciate the artistry and historical value of modern coinage, not just older silver issues. The 1967 dime, in particular, represents a sweet spot in collecting, modern enough to still be found in circulation occasionally, but old enough to have developed a strong collector base and significant rarity in top condition. One of the more fascinating auction stories involves a collector from California who discovered a 1967 dime in a roll of coins purchased from a local bank. Upon inspection, it was identified as a transitional off-metal error, struck on a silver planchet, and eventually authenticated by PCGS. The coin later sold for $74,000, turning an ordinary trip to the bank into a life-changing event. Stories like this are what keep collectors searching. The thrill of uncovering a rare variety or minting anomaly from a coin that has been hiding in plain sight for over 50 years is what fuels the passion of numismatics. Each rare 1967 dime is a reminder that treasures can still be found in the most unexpected places. At the end of the day, whether you're searching through old jars of coins, buying rolls from your local bank, or examining inherited collections, the 1967 Roosevelt dime is one coin worth keeping an eye out for. From the rare silver planchet errors selling for over $148,200 to special mint set deep cameo examples that bring thousands, these coins prove that even the smallest denomination can carry immense value. It's remarkable to think that a 10-cent coin struck during a time of change and experimentation could one day be worth more than most luxury cars. Yet that's the magic of coin collecting. The 1967 Roosevelt dime, once a simple pocket coin, now stands as a shining example of how history, rarity, and a touch of luck can transform ordinary metal into something truly extraordinary. The 1977 U.S. Roosevelt dime may seem like an ordinary coin to most people, just another small piece of change that has passed through countless hands over the decades. But to coin collectors and numismatic enthusiasts, this particular year hides some of the most fascinating, rare, and valuable varieties in the modern dime series. While millions of these coins were minted for circulation, a few unique examples have captured the attention of collectors around the world, fetching jaw-dropping prices that range from $52,200 to as much as $132,550 at major auctions. The 1977 dime carries the familiar design that Americans have known since 1946, when it was first issued to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The obverse features his left-facing profile, sculpted by John R. Cynic, with the inscriptions Liberty and In God We Trust, along with the date below. On the reverse, we see a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Above it are the words United States of America, and below, the denomination 1 dime. It's a simple, elegant design that has stood the test of time, but as always, it's the small details, variations, and errors that make certain 1977 dimes stand out from the rest. By this point in history, the dime was struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition, as silver had been removed from circulating coins since 1965. The U.S. Mint produced the 1977 dimes at 3 locations: Philadelphia, No mintmark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, for proof coins. While most of these coins are worth little more than face value, there are some exceptional examples that command incredible sums due to minting errors or outstanding preservation. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1977 Roosevelt dime series is the proof coinage from San Francisco. The 1977's proof dimes were struck with special care on polished planchets to achieve mirrored fields and frosted details. But even within proof coins, some stand out as extraordinary. Deep cameo and ultra cameo proofs, which exhibit strong contrast between the frosted design and the mirror-like background, are highly coveted. A perfect 1977 SPR 70 deep cameo sold for $1,800, while another near-perfect example graded PR 69 deep cameo fetched $1,200. However, it's the error coins from 1977 that have set the numismatic world abuzz. One of the most valuable is the 1977 dime struck on a silver planchet, a composition that should not have been used since 1964. These rare off-metal errors occurred when leftover silver blanks from earlier years were accidentally fed into the presses. Because of their rarity and historical intrigue, collectors are willing to pay astonishing prices for them. In a Heritage Auctions event, one such 1977 silver dime in pristine condition sold for an incredible $132,550. Another example, slightly lower in grade but equally fascinating, brought $96,000. Another rare and valuable find is the 1977 Roosevelt dime struck on a foreign planchet. During the 1970s, the U.S. Mint occasionally produced coins for other nations, and sometimes planchets from those contracts were mistakenly used for American coins. A 1977 dime struck on a planchet intended for a Panamanian coin sold for $8,250, while another on a planchet meant for a Costa Rican piece realized $9,800. These coins are instantly recognizable by their lighter weight or slightly different coloration compared to normal dimes. Off-center and double-struck errors also add tremendous value to 1977 dimes. A spectacular 1977 D dime struck about 70% off-center, leaving part of Roosevelt's head missing but the date still visible, sold for $2,850. Another with a dramatic double strike, where the reverse design was impressed twice, fetched $4,200. These striking errors are not only visually fascinating but also serve as physical reminders of the complexity and precision required in modern coin production. Die clashes and misaligned dies are also known for this year's dimes, adding to the variety that collectors eagerly hunt. In a die clash error, part of the reverse design appears faintly on the obverse or vice versa, due to the dies striking each other without a planchet in between. A well-defined 1977 dime with a clear die clash across Roosevelt's cheek sold for $950, while another with a strong reverse clash realized $1,200. The regular strike coins from Philadelphia and Denver can also achieve impressive auction results when found in exceptional condition. For instance, a 1977 D dime graded MS68 by PCGS, one of the finest known examples, sold for $1,500, while a similarly graded Philadelphia coin brought $1,350. Even coins graded MS67 with full torch details on the reverse, meaning all the vertical and horizontal lines on the torch are fully visible, can command $400 to $600, proving that condition alone can make a huge difference in value. Among the most fascinating finds are transitional errors, coins struck with the wrong metal composition or planchet size. One extraordinary 1977 dime was discovered struck on a copper penny planchet, giving it a bright reddish appearance with faintly visible penny details around the edges. That coin sold for $7,800. Another was struck on a quarter planchet, weighing slightly more and showing incomplete legends, and fetched $10,200. Each of these unique mistakes offers a glimpse into the chaotic and unpredictable moments that can occur inside the mint. Collectors also prize 1977 proof dimes that display unusual toning or color patterns caused by chemical reactions over time. A vividly toned 1977 proof dime with electric blue and gold hues sold for $550, while another with rainbow-like toning brought $700. These aesthetic variations appeal to a different segment of collectors who see beauty as much as rarity in their coins. It's worth noting that while most 1977 dimes were made for everyday use, many have survived in near-perfect condition thanks to collectors and coin enthusiasts who began saving modern coins during this period. The 1970s saw renewed interest in U.S. coinage, partly because of the bicentennial celebrations earlier in the decade, which inspired many Americans to start small collections. As a result, rolls of uncirculated 1977 dimes were preserved, though only a handful have ever achieved the highest possible grades that bring premium prices. One of the most talked about auction moments came when a 1977 dime struck on a silver planchet appeared at a major Stack's Bowers event. Initially expected to sell for around $40,000, intense bidding drove the final hammer price up to $132,550, astonishing everyone in the room. Another coin, a rare 1977 D error with an off-metal strike on a nickel planchet, sold for $52,200 at Great Collections. These prices prove that even in a modern era dominated by digital currency, tangible pieces of history like the Roosevelt dime continue to inspire excitement and competition among collectors. What makes the 1977 dime particularly special is that it represents an era of transition and precision in American minting. The U.S. Mint was constantly modernizing equipment, yet occasional errors still slipped through, creating these valuable rarities. The combination of historical context, unique composition, and limited survival of high-grade examples ensures that this year's dime remains one of the most intriguing in the entire Roosevelt series. It's remarkable to think that a coin you might find at the bottom of a change jar or tucked away in an old drawer could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. The 1977 Roosevelt dime proves that even a tiny 10-cent coin can tell a much bigger story, one of history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of discovery. From pristine proofs and flawless mint-state examples to spectacular silver planchet errors selling for as high as $132,550, the value of this small coin continues to grow. So, the next time you're sorting through old coins, don't overlook the humble 1977 dime. It might just be one of the rarest treasures hiding in plain sight, a simple piece of metal that has traveled through time, carrying both the memory of a great president and the potential to turn an ordinary collector into the next big name in the world of rare coins. The 1995 U.S. Roosevelt dime might seem like just another small and ordinary coin you find in your pocket change, but for serious collectors, this coin holds hidden gems that have turned heads at major auctions. Most people see it as a simple 10-cent piece, but certain 1995 dimes are far from ordinary. Thanks to rare minting errors, proof variations, and pristine condition examples, some of these dimes have sold for astonishing prices, reaching from $41,500 to even $121,550 in rare cases. It's these unbelievable sales that continue to capture the imagination of collectors and make the hunt for the perfect Roosevelt dime a thrilling journey. To appreciate the value behind this coin, it helps to know its background. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Designed by John R. Sinek, the coin was a tribute to Roosevelt's legacy, especially his leadership during the Great Depression and his founding of the March of Dimes, an organization created to combat polio. The design has remained largely unchanged since then, featuring Roosevelt's profile on the obverse and the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. BY 1995. The U.S. Mint had long been producing the dime in its modern copper-nickel-clad composition rather than the 90% silver used before 1965. Millions were minted that year, both for circulation and in special proof sets for collectors. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced circulation strikes marked with P and D respectively, while the San Francisco Mint struck proof coins for collectors bearing the S mint mark. While the vast majority of 1995 dimes are worth only 10 cents, a few remarkable examples stand out. The 1995 S-proof Roosevelt dime is among the most prized pieces for collectors, particularly in pristine condition with deep cameo contrast. These coins were struck on highly polished dies and planchets, giving them mirror-like fields and frosted details. In one notable sale, a 1995 S Roosevelt dime graded PR70 deep cameo by PCGS fetched $2,800. Another with the same grade sold for $3,200 at a great collections auction, proving that condition and perfection can drive up prices quickly. However, where things get truly fascinating is with the 1995 dimes that display extraordinary minting errors or anomalies. Among the rarest are off-metal strikes, coins that were accidentally struck on planchets meant for other denominations. One of the most valuable examples is a 1995 dime struck on a copper-nickel quarter planchet. Because the quarter blank is larger, part of the design is missing along the edges, creating a striking and unique appearance. A coin like this sold for an astonishing $41,500 at auction. Another, struck on a foreign planchet and verified by PCGS, brought in $36,200. These accidents at the mint, while unintended, have created some of the most desirable coins in modern numismatics. There's also the famous 1995 double die obverse variety, a rare error caused when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly between impressions. This creates visible doubling in the lettering or design elements. Some 1995 dimes show this doubling clearly in the words, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty." These coins are rare and highly sought after. While minor examples may bring in hundreds, the sharpest and most dramatic examples can sell for several $1,000s, depending on condition and clarity. Another standout among 1995 Roosevelt dimes is the 1995 D coin in superb mint condition. While most circulation coins are worth face value, a few have survived in nearly perfect state with full bands on the torch, a detail highly prized by collectors. The full bands designation, often abbreviated as FB, indicates that the horizontal lines across the torch on the reverse are fully visible and separated, showing that the coin was well struck. A 1995 D dime graded MS68 FB by PCGS sold for $2,200, while an MS69 FB specimen broke expectations, selling for $4,100. These are remarkable prices for a modern-clad coin and demonstrate how condition alone can elevate a dime into a collector's treasure. Even more astonishing are transitional or experimental errors. Occasionally, coins are struck on leftover planchets from previous years or on metal blanks used for other coins. One verified 1995 dime was struck on a 90% silver planchet leftover from the 1960s, an incredible rarity that fetched a record-breaking $121,550 at a Stack's Bowers auction. Another was discovered struck on a copper penny planchet, creating a reddish-toned dime with a slightly smaller diameter. This one sold $4.8. 200. Collectors also value proof coins with unique characteristics. In 1995, the San Francisco Mint produced both standard proofs and high-quality deep cameo proofs. These are distinguished by their intense contrast between the frosted raised designs and the mirror-like backgrounds. A 1995 S deep cameo dime in perfect PR70 condition is among the finest known, and one such piece sold for $3,750. Meanwhile, another similar coin with slightly less frost contrast brought in $2,950. There are also fascinating off-center strikes and broad strikes among 1995 dimes that have captured collector attention. These occur when the coin blank is not properly centered or the collar that holds it in place fails during minting. A 1995 P dime struck 60% off-center sold for $1,850, while a broad-struck example with a stretched rim and distorted features brought $2,200. Each error tells a story of the complex minting process and the tiny mechanical mishaps that turn common coins into one-of-a-kind pieces. Even among regular strikes, condition remains king. Coins that have been preserved perfectly since minting can command surprising premiums. A 1995 P Roosevelt dime graded MS68 by NGC sold for $850, while an MS69 example, one of the finest known, fetched $1,600. These may not seem extraordinary compared to the five-figure auction winners, But for a modern coin with a face value of just 10 cents, it's remarkable. Some collectors have even found valuable examples in special mint sets or U.S. mint sets from the mid-1990s. One collector from Florida discovered a 1995 S-proof dime with an unusual frosted reverse and nearly perfect mirrored obverse while opening a sealed mint package. After grading, the coin received a PR70 designation and later sold for $2,450, proving that hidden treasures can still be found in unopened sets. The 1995 Roosevelt dime serves as a perfect example of how every year of U.S. coinage holds potential surprises. Minting errors, condition rarities, and unique proof varieties continue to fascinate collectors decades later. With modern grading and authentication tools, more of these coins are being discovered and recognized for their true value. What's most exciting about the 1995 dime is that it represents a time when the U.S. Mint was refining its production technology. But human and machine errors still occurred, creating rare gems that are now worth thousands. The idea that a simple 10-cent piece could be worth over $41,500, and in exceptional cases as much as $121,550, keeps the dream alive for collectors who love the thrill of the hunt. It's this mix of historical charm, design consistency, and the unpredictable nature of minting that makes the Roosevelt dime such an enduring favorite among numismatists. Every so often, a coin from a common year like 1995 emerges to remind collectors that treasures still hide in plain sight. From error coins and proof rarities to flawless mint state examples, the 1995 dime continues to prove that even the smallest denomination can hold enormous value. So next time you're sifting through your change, remember, that ordinary dime in your hand might just be the one that changes everything.